Hi everyone. Can you all hear me? Hi Joy, Brasi, Ingrid. Welcome to another episode. Having Eduardo joining today too.
Sandra,
Hi. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Hi. How are you?
How's
How
your
is
Wednesday going?
everything? Tell me.
Everything's good. I
Hi
mean, it's
Hadia,
another
HMB. I'm telling you what.
your female engineer, Joanne, STEM Media here. Thank you all for being here.
Yes. My God, I'm like far enough from like I feel like my head being cut off. Okay, perfect. Now, am I good now? Good.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, you're good.
okay, well, welcome everybody to Women in STEM Wednesdays here at Engineering Memes Guys Instagram account. Um, and we also have him here joining from his personal account, Eduardo Flores. Thank you for letting us use
Hello.
your platform and to provide us with that amazing, opportunity to share stories, the bad. And today's episode is I look like an engineer. Do you know why?
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with the story a little bit. I know that Claudia and Bahdon are going to be giving a little bit of a background, but yeah, it's from my understanding, it was about a woman that I think they saw a poster of a woman in
Hmm.
somewhere by like at a train station, and she didn't look like a software engineer apparently. And
Yeah.
somehow, they found out that somehow it got around, and they found out who she, and she started this hashtag. So yeah, so I look like an engineer started back in 2015 from my understanding. So yeah, pretty interesting story, right? So we're gonna see what kind of stories you all have to tell the world.
Yes, yes. And also just give a shout out to our sponsors with Papaya Tutor. And there's a story in
I think
engineer and the creation of Papaya Tutor, but I can go um, into that. Also wanted to give a shout out to Lumis Automation, which is I think amazing that you have a very successful engineering memes account. You call yourself the king of memes, of engineering memes. Self-proclaimed here. And then we have STEM Media to help us produce the show. So, so yeah, like I thought that the topic was interesting. Why? Because, when you tell somebody that they don't look like an engineer, it's a type of, like it's a stereotyping at the end
Mhm.
of the day, right? And what happens with that is like, as a woman, right? Because usually we're the ones that are told that we don't look like engineers. Uh, it kind of messes up with your like your worth as an engineer. Like for example, when
Mhm.
people used to tell me that I don't look like an engineer, and then I got hired by this like Fortune like 500 company, and they hire from like the top like universities in the country. I was like, oh no, people are not gonna think I'm smart because I don't look like an engineer. So I was never like myself. I thought I had to be two separate people because, like one person was the engineer and the other person was me who had like, like a personality. And not
Mhm.
that engineers don't have personalities, but, like it messed up a little bit with my mind. So I thought that, there's more to that. There's more to telling like a woman like they don't look like an engineer, or when, like I think that people have mentioned that before,
Mhm.
just about like how, like when women are told like, uh, oh, engineering is hard. Oh, wow, you must be so smart. Like men don't have the same reaction when they say like I'm an engineer. So I thought,
Yeah.
like papaya is all about breaking stereotypes, and giving a voice to, you know, minorities and making sure that we level the floor. And that also starts with us, with women. So yeah, I'm excited to
Yeah.
start the show. So
Yeah,
who do
it's
we have?
interesting. Yeah, so we're gonna introduce Bahdon, right? She's a first gen Bangladesh immigrant, mechanical engineering student from New York, who is an incoming avionics intern at SpaceX. So she's
Mhm.
from New York, moving to SpaceX, you know, for an internship this summer, which is pretty cool. I wish I got an internship at SpaceX. Never did, but sounds really cool. She's super cool. And then, yeah, one thing you should know about her is that she uses her platform to raise awareness for women in STEM and helps them guide them through it as well. So, and then we also have Claudia, which is an electromechanical systems engineering student at Cal Poly Pomona, which is pretty close to me. Uh, Claudia has also been an optomechanical intern at NASA JPL, so super cool people. Uh, and they're going to be talking about their stories and giving a little bit of background about, you know, what an engineer looks like, right? Especially from a woman's perspective. They have their own stories, and you know, we're also going to be doing a meme review here briefly. So that's another thing we're going to be going over. So stay tuned. But yeah, Sandra, do you want to bring them in so we can do the meme review?
Yes. And I
Cool.
actually have put in my agenda to do my makeup because they always have really like amazing makeup. And I was like, oh, I'll do my makeup for them, but I didn't have time. I just got off my call.
You're
Um,
fine.
yeah, so
Oh, so it
sorry,
looks like
ladies.
I think they might be having an issue sending a request.
I added them, so I guess just
Oh, you did?
stay tuned to see that. Yeah, I added them. They let me.
All right,
I think
Claudia
that's why.
and Badhon. So guys are saying
And
what's
my
makeup, right?
what's makeup? No
Yeah.
way. Do you live under a rock? Who said that?
Uh,
We'll kick him out. No, I'm just kidding. But
all
so
right, so she's waiting for the submission. I think it might be one of those things where I might need to leave, Sandra. So if you don't have the memes, forwarding them to your email. Um, so I guess they're not receiving your requests. We're having the same technical difficulties as every week. So
I
um,
know.
so
I know.
I'm gonna have to leave, Sandra, and you're gonna have to take over. So your memes are in the email, okay? Are you
Shout
good,
out to
Sandra?
Dominican Republic. Yes, yes. Yeah.
All right,
So are you sending me the memes? You can just send them to my iPhone.
it's your phone. Okay, I'll text them to you.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, I'll leave so they can come in. All right. Hi, everybody. Well,
yes.
hope you all enjoy.
So cosmically minded and Astro, but honey, okay, so I'm just gonna wait for your request then.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Oh my God, I
Oh,
love your look today. I honestly was like, I woke up today and I was like, I'm gonna do my makeup,
yeah.
because I have to pay my respect. They always have their makeup on point. You have to give us a tutorial.
Yeah.
Uh,
You.
all right, so I see another request. Perfect, now it's working. Maybe
Okay.
maybe your platform doesn't like men on Wednesdays.
Maybe.
Eduardo, no, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
So let me pull up the memes while we wait. Let me Yeah, so let me pull up the memes while we wait for Claudia. Um,
Hi,
so
Kate. I see.
how are you
I'm
today?
I'm doing great. I had a really busy day. I had a day full of class. But the weather is getting better in New York. So of course, the better the weather gets, the better my mood gets. So
Yes.
um, I also am moving in a month, so that's very chaotic. So I'm trying to take things very slowly and kind of just deal with one thing at a time and finishing school. But yeah, that's about it. That's how my days are now.
So what, hi, Mahmoud, what's up? Uh, so everybody can like write where you go to school or where your major is or your hardest classes, and we'll try to cater to all of your questions and
Mhm.
comments. So it seems like Claudia is not being let in, but so Claudia, just wait. Don't request. I'll request you.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why. Claudia. Okay. All stress in the house.
Thanks, Rahad. I see one of my friends commenting.
Chemical engineering. So what are you? So I didn't get a chance to meet you because we usually like know about you, but today I have been working since like 7 a.m.
Oh my
Yes,
God. Yeah.
I know it's crazy. Yeah. So yeah. So tell me a little bit about you while we wait for Claudia.
Yeah, sure. So I am a mechanical engineering student. This is my final year, and basically I have 5 more weeks to finish up. And aside from that, I am an incoming intern at SpaceX in Hawthorne, California. My journey for STEM really started at a very early age. I wanted to be a pilot, a fighter jet kind of thing, but I have really bad eyesight, so I didn't get into the Air Force Academy. But here I am now working on hopefully human spaceflight. And my role as an intern is to work at the Starship payload R&D testing. So I'm very excited to do that this summer and just excited to see. And I love space, so I'm really glad to be here and doing what I love.
That's amazing. So you wanted to be a pilot, and that's how you ended up in the engineering field. I mean, being a pilot is hard too, right?
Well, so right now I'm actually starting, hopefully, I was going to start in May to take up some private pilot classes, but I just have so much going on that I can't find the time to do so. But I guess my passion for space and like aero started with just flying, like Top Gun, movies like Top Gun, space movies. Like I just love the idea of going above and beyond. And then when I got rejected from Air Force, I was like, okay, I can fly, but maybe I can make this. So that's how I got into engineering, where we make and we break and we create all these new innovations.
Oh wow. So were you always like good at math? Like how was your journey in school? Like were you like a nerd? Were you not a nerd? Like how was it?
Yeah, sure. So I always loved science, but I moved to the States when I was 9 years old. So for me, like math and science and that whole language cultural shock was really difficult. And it brings up the fact that tutoring is so important. I've had a tutor
Yes.
since 8th grade, and I honestly thank my parents for that because that has helped me learn so much and just helped me connect where I'm struggling in class. I've had a tutor for SATs, I've had a tutor for any kind of AP classes, and even in college, like office hours, and kind of just seeking out that help and saying, hey, I need someone to explain this to me further than class. So I was definitely not a 4.0 student ever, but with the help of tutors and having that tutoring support on the side, I really did shine through classes because
Thank you.
like I went home and I didn't understand something, but I had another person or a teacher that showed
Hmm.
me after school that, not all of us learn right in school. Some of us take time, some of us are a little slow when it comes to learning, which is okay. And that's exactly what I was. And through tutoring, I kind of coped with that and managed that.
So thank you for remind. I'm being like all. I'm like, oh yeah, papaya. I literally just finished my call. I was like looking at my call. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
8:59. I was like, I have to jump in this live. Um, but yes, so this is amazing because I actually like to me, I feel like diversity hits home
Mm-hmm.
because ever since I was little, or like just my way, like I guess um like my behavior or like the way I act doesn't fit within like an engineer stereotype. So people would say like, "Oh, you don't look like an engineer," and so I never took like that as like as a bad thing, and I didn't think that they said it as a bad thing. But I think that when I started working, I got like a big like um imposter syndrome. I was like, oh my God, like they're not gonna think I'm smart because I don't look like an engineer. So that, and then also seeing the lack of diversity in STEM, because I work with Accenture in
Mm-hmm.
the technology side, so I work all around Silicon Valley,
Mm-hmm.
and I never saw like, well, not that I never, but like, so out of Silicon Valley, only 5% is consisted of minorities, so people of color. And I was like, wow, like that's crazy. And I saw it. Not only that, but like, yes, in school,
Mm-hmm.
when I was little, I was really good at math.
Mm-hmm.
I think science too. But in college, I think that, like that language barrier, the fact that, like it's a different culture, the way that they even say like little things on math and science got to me. And that's when, and I also worked through school, so I also needed like tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
And, like that's where I got, but I couldn't afford the tutoring here. It's like 30, $50 an hour. I was like, wow, like nobody can afford this. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I created Papaya, because, just being around like, just wanting to have more diversity in like STEM. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that that would be a good way to make it accessible and affordable to everybody. And in a way that my tutor made me feel, like my tutor was so happy. And you know how like people in third world countries, like they're just grateful for that opportunity. That
Yeah.
little money to them is a lot. He was
Mm-hmm.
just so happy and humble that I love that, And the tutors here in US, not all, but
Mm-hmm.
like I would go to tutoring center and they would be like, like you don't know this, like, or
Yeah,
they would look down on you, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go there because like they make me feel bad.
exactly.
So let me see why
I,
I cannot add Claudia. Give me 1 minute.
I think we have to restart this whole thing. That's what someone was recommending. Like shut it off and restart it again. Maybe then they'll let her in, hopefully.
Okay, I'm gonna try her one more time.
Okay. Let's see.
I wonder if I have bad connection. Can you guys hear me well? Okay. So what was your hardest class in college?
Yeah, I think my hardest class, too, was different ways hard. One of my hardest class was machine shop, but that's not for like educational way. That's just being a woman in STEM and being the way I am for that. And my second one was physics. Physics 3 was really, really difficult for me. But I got through that with a tutor and getting help from a tutoring center and going to college office hours and seeking out help and seeking out
Yes.
first step of being like, hey, I need help, which is like something that we should normalize and talk about more. Um, and yeah, so I think, I'm sorry, but I think that we have to exit and then we both request at the same time because I'm seeing the messages on my iPad and that's what Claudia is saying. Do you want to try that?
Yeah, so just FY, yes. Hi everyone again. So sorry for the technical problems, but we are back. Hey everyone again. Perfect. Okay, so I'm accepting the request. Oh no, it's because other people are requesting. Hi everyone. How's everybody doing? All right, so can you do me a favor? And I need to go live with two special ladies. So if you are not one of those special ladies, please just wait a little bit to send a request and we'll try to add you on the end. But we have to start the show. Yes, so there are a lot of people trying to get in this live. So let me go ahead and request you instead.
Oh my God, where's Claudia? Let's see. Oh,
we did it! Okay, great.
oh God, yes.
We're here. Can you hear her? I can't hear you, Sandra. No.
Sandra. No.
No. I think it might be your AirPods. I can hear you, yeah. We're good.
Perfect, yeah. So sorry about that. Okay, finally, yes, no more bugs. Great.
Yes.
So we have two amazing ladies. Everybody, thank you for being staying with us. I mean, we still have like a big number of views here. So why don't you just introduce yourself real quick, or reintroduce yourself real quick, and then, um, well, you start, Claudia, and then yeah, we can start the show.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Claudia. I am an electromechanical systems engineering major at Cal Poly Pomona, and I am also an optomechanical engineering intern at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where I work on a lot of optical systems and basically the mechanical design. And a lot of my work has been on telescope systems specifically, so I've helped with part of the astrophysics decadal survey, which is basically looking for the next space telescope, the ones that follow after James Webb and the Roman Space Telescope. And so, yeah, I worked on that. And I'm also working on a test bed that is basically helping us test the technologies that we included in the proposal. And yeah, and I'm also cosmically minded here on Instagram, where I basically tell my story from where I come from and how I got to where I am now. So that's me.
So I'll go next.
It's amazing.
So welcome back. I'm so grateful to be here too, and I'm so glad we got all of this working. My name is, and I am a mechanical engineering student, a senior, and I'm an incoming intern at SpaceX who will be working on the payload, essentially Starship. And aside from that, I use my social media platform to talk about my experience as a woman in STEM and kind of just share my tips and tricks of how I manage and how I cope and how I deal with the things we all deal with as a woman of STEM.
Perfect. So my name, I think everybody knows me already. They're probably sick of me, but my name is Sarah. I'm an industrial engineer. I work in tech, and I work for Accenture, and we do a lot of technology strategy at the corporate level and C-level suite for all your favorite tech companies. I won't mention, but you can search and do this kind of lives in the kind of companies that I work for. And also, I am the CEO and founder of Papaya Tutors, and that is because it is important for me that we create a platform that makes STEM accessible to everybody regardless of race, religion, and gender. So ladies, we are starting this special live because we want to raise awareness about I look like an engineer. So can you tell me about like your journey in school, or when did you feel like like you were doubted because you don't look like an engineer? And I'm pretty sure that I was just talking about this I'm sorry, but I always call you, I used to call you Astro Bad Bunny, and then I was like, it's Bad Honey. But
Bad Bunny, like the artist.
Yes, those tickets. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, but so tell me, so yeah, when was the first time that you felt like that? And did you like it at first? I mean, and it's okay because at the beginning you can take it as a compliment, but did that affect you after?
Yeah, so I guess my first time feeling that way was my freshman year. I almost gave up engineering when I was in my sophomore year, and I wanted to go into teaching because it just became too difficult to deal with this in school and having to do school and work part-time. Like, it was just too much for me, but I didn't. That's why I'm here today. But my experience was that in machine lab, a professor, we were in teams, and he told me that I should go take notes instead of doing the things that the other guys were doing. And I had to tell him that, sir, I'm paying the same amount as everyone else. I deserve to touch these machines, and I deserve to work here. And even if it takes me a little longer to learn it, I can do this, and you have to let me do this. And he was like, well, your hands are just too pretty to be doing this, you know? And I was like, that's not a compliment. I can get you fired. And I had, like, I almost went to the dean to spoke and talk about this, but I just didn't go because school just itself was so tiring and exhausting to me. But yeah, so ever since then, it's just been like a constant fight. It's just like constantly raising my voice, being like, hey, I'm here too. I'm a part of your team. I contribute, and you have to listen to me. That's why, going back, like, I always say this, that I prefer Zoom classes more because it gives us the equal voice. Like, there's no one that's louder than me. Everyone has the same level on Zoom, and I can speak up and I can put you on mute if you don't listen to what I say. So yeah, so started at a very early age in my college career, but finally, like, as you go through like the years, you kind of build your skin up, and you just push it through.
Wow, that's amazing. What about you, Claudia?
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, so a little like backstory on like the actual hashtag of I look like an engineer. So if I'm not mistaken, it was started by a software engineer. I know Eduardo was talking about a little bit this in the last live that we were starting. It was like a billboard, and basically, you know, that stereotype and assumption that she didn't look like an engineer. So she kind of started this hashtag to basically share her story of how she's been doubted because of the stereotype. And I've definitely felt that along the way. For me, definitely, I didn't have any outreach to me in terms of engineering. I never was someone who I guess they considered might be an engineer in the future. So I didn't know about engineering for a very long time. I actually found out about engineering in my first year of college, actually. And it was because I had done a program, which was NCAS. I talk about this program all the time because it was like basically what opened the doors for me to my career and what I'm doing now. And it introduced me to engineering. I went back to my community college and enrolled in some engineering classes, and I fell in love with engineering. So definitely, I think there wasn't any outreach to me in terms of like maybe she's interested in engineering because I just didn't look like I would be interested in the subject, which is just, again, an assumption. And in terms of like classes, you know, I felt like I had to give up a part of me because of engineering, because I was, I wanted to like fit into like the engineering world, which is like, you know, you don't wear makeup because for me, like, I wanted to be taken seriously because I realized like when I would wear makeup, it would be like a thing to be like called out in a meeting, like, oh, you did your makeup today or whatever the case is. And even like my nails or anything like that, it was like definitely a thing where it like seemed to take focus away from like the technical information that I was presenting rather than, and it was like more on my appearances. So definitely, I think now I embrace the fact that I enjoy makeup and I like to do my makeup, and it's a part of me, and it does not define whether I am capable of being an engineer or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what's the difference between like sometimes I join my practice goals and I'm in supply chain. So, you know, like most of the people, yes, it's very male dominated and very like Caucasian dominated, um, simply put, like that. And sometimes they talk about hunting and fishing. So you have hobbies, and mine, like, you know, let's say like my, I mean, I wish I like can do my makeup like as beautiful as you guys or you girls do it. But what's the difference between, you know, that and me liking fashion, for example, right? Like, you know, like, so I don't understand why like a hobby of yours has to define you not looking or looking like an engineer. It's crazy. So I'm happy that now you're comfortable, and that is important. Like, I mean, I was just talking about me living two separate lives because people have that I don't look like an engineer. So I was like, oh no, like they're not gonna think I'm smart. So I like, like I wasn't myself fully. And like when you're not yourself fully, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that you do the best like work. Yes.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I feel like
anyway,
you're unhappy. Yeah.
yeah. So like I wanted to ask you more about like, how do you like about in your job? Like are there any other like little microaggressions you suffer besides, just like not looking like an engineer? Like are there other ways that you have been taken for granted and you yourself like doubted your self value or worth?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely go first. I definitely feel like there's a lot of microaggressions, invalidating of our experiences. Like even sometimes in the comments of the lives, I see how, we tell our stories and it's like, no, it's not like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you can't necessarily tell me, what I experience if it's from my point of view and my perspective. So yeah, I definitely go through a lot of that. I go through, something more like recently is making sure that I'm also being included. It's important to have diversity, but it's also important to have that inclusivity when we have that diversity, because it's kind of like, there's no point in a way to like have all these people, bring them in and have that diversity, but you're not making them feel happy, because that retention is like super important when you're in the industry. So, I've had problems with that and feeling like included in meetings or like in email chains. And then basically like I feel lost, because if I'm not included in the meetings and like emails, then I don't know what's going on. And so then now it turns into me feeling like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so it leads to imposter syndrome and like several effects that basically we have to go through because of the microaggressions or the lack of inclusivity. So yeah.
And for you, wait, I'm so sorry. Like, I never got your name, and I keep calling you Astro, but but Bunny, but now
Beth
it's not.
Bunny.
It's
What is
Baden.
it?
Baden.
Vadim. Oh, okay, yeah, I was okay. Got it. Um, so what about for you? Can you like, do you share the same experiences, and do you do you believe that this is because we're women or because we don't exactly look like engineers?
Wow, that's a really good question. So I think I definitely experienced the things that Claudia just mentioned when it comes to sharing our experience. Both of our platforms talk about our experience in undergrad and going through like issues that we deal with, and then we'll have people tell us, be like, what are the statistics? Where are your facts? And it's like, I am the fact. I am the living proof that that is happening. I don't need to give you statistics of how I'm feeling or what I'm going through. Like, I'm sure none of us would like this to happen to us, but it does happen to us. And it's a real thing that we do need to talk about. And I'm glad that there's so many amazing accounts right now that talk about this. So many incredible women that you think are just so high up, but they share the same struggles as us that over here. And it's just like amazing to see that they're speaking about it. And I think that it definitely, I think it's because we're a woman. Honestly, I think that's it. Because I just feel like if, I always say this, that if we're given the same equal opportunity and looked upon just as the role that we are in, there would not be a difference. If you just look at me as your teammate rather than the pretty girl or the one that like shows up, it's like fashion school or something, like that kind of thing. If I'm just your teammate, then I can give you the best and you can get the best from me. But if you just look at me and right away judge me and say, what does she know about satellites? What does she know about cars? Like, what does she know about this? And it's just like right away that brings my confidence from here to here. And doubting myself that, hey, do I
Yeah.
know this? Even say I prepped up all night. And that's one thing about women, that we prep and we prepare. Like, we are always studying more. We are always doing more because we have to tell people in position that we're qualified. And we have to constantly prove this. Even though we get degrees, even though we do this, even at our job, we have to prove this, that, hey, I actually went through this. I didn't unquote sleep my way through work. I didn't use my smile to get into the job. I actually used my brain that I have too to get where I am today.
Yeah. All I have to say is like, honestly, facts.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing, right? Like you think that people are like, oh well, you're a girl, so you'll get away with that. I'm like, it's actually the opposite. I feel like, you have a flashlight on your work. It's like, oh, like, how's your job? Or like, what do you do? Like, let me like review this again. Which kind of sucks. And, another, you were talking about statistics. So to whoever this person is, in the book, Lean In, I don't know if you guys have read it, but if not, it's a really good book. And I love books that are like that have data to back it up. So on Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, who is the COO of Facebook, ex-COO of Google, she talks about how women tend to, like, statistically proven, if they wanted facts, um, women tend to not apply for jobs unless they're qualified, yet men apply for jobs even though they're not qualified. And this is statistically proven. So, and there's been like AI algorithms that usually like they like they read through resumes, and they like are biased against women because of certain things that they put in their resumes. So yeah, like a woman, for example, if there is a role, like, and this might, like, women might not like realize this because it's subconsciously, but if there's a role that says like, oh, like it's like I don't know, like you have to be a leader, you have to be strong, and blah 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 blah. Like women would tend not to apply to those roles. So I mean, yes, and there is data to prove that there is a problem, and when there's enough people speaking, you know, about the same problem, then there is a problem. So yeah. So how did you get into Instagram? Like, how was this, like, like, how did you get, I guess, like, I mean, it's 9 p.m., so excuse my French. So how do you get I would say the polls, but that is not like woman power. But you know what I mean? Like, how do you get to do it? Because I feel like like I was telling Eduardo and me, uh, that I will have my Instagram so far removed from anything related to work, because I didn't, my Instagram was my personal life, and like kind of like more of like and pictures of like an album of like my trips, or like, things like that. So I didn't want anybody to look into it. It was like, because I was like, oh no, like like I'm fun, so people are not gonna think I'm an engineer. But yeah, so how did you get to, like, blend those two worlds, and how are you liking it right now?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So my kind of intro to this whole STEM world was through my first post that I shared about my first flight that I took on a Cessna, and it was way back about 3 months ago, I believe. And before this, I kind of knew that a woman in STEM community existed, but not as much. And before that, I just felt like I was like this creative, artsy person that no one really knew about my passion. I didn't need to tell anyone what I do. I just kind of hid it on the side, which is so crazy because all of my good experiencing and networking came through social media. Like Intern X is this career fair that I met my internship through. Like that came from social media. So for me, it was just like that first post, and everyone was just like cheering me on and telling such good things. And I was just like, whoa, like there's so many of you that look like me and you do the same thing as I do. And then I got comments saying, how do you do it? And I was like, okay, I can maybe talk about my experience and share what I do. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I always get such sweet messages of people being like, hey, can you help me with this? How do you do this? Like today I edited someone's resume. I have free time somehow here and there. So I edited her resume, like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it's just like helping making those tiny little impacts in someone's life is really what like brings me to tears almost sometimes, because they are just like, wow, you look like me and you're doing what I want to do, and I want to be like you. And I'm like, wow, like that's the ultimate goal, to inspire other women to do exactly what we're doing and kind of lead the path for the future generations.
That's amazing. What about you, Claudia?
Yeah, so I think for me, I wasn't aware of like all the different things that we kind of talk about, like the microaggressions and, you know, honestly, the impacts that it has on our mental health, because it can create a lot of anxiety, a lot of imposter syndrome, and just, you know, the hits that it takes to like our confidence, and we don't feel like we're worthy or we're capable or whatever the case is. And honestly, coming from where I come from, like the background, so I am actually from South Central Los Angeles. So I don't know if like any of you know that, but it's basically a low income community in LA. And so for me, it was kind of like I want to help spread the message to people from my community to basically go after their dreams. So it doesn't necessarily have to be engineering, although I want to, you know, encourage other women to go into STEM. But, you know, the overall goal of you chasing after that thing that you've always dreamed of and what you want to do for yourself in your life. So yeah, I found this amazing community of women in STEM that basically have helped me, honestly, in my journey, because it is a community that uplifts each other instead of breaking each other down. Because that's another thing that I feel like we see in engineering school, is people who want to compete with each other to basically get to where they feel like they need to get to. And so it's like tearing each other apart instead of building each other up and all going in the same direction. So I honestly really enjoyed that. And I feel like I've faced honestly so much adversity, and I wanted to share that because I know that this journey can be difficult. There's going to be a lot of things that we see in the world, in our lives, and could be obstacles that come in the way of chasing our dreams. So I really wanted to basically share my story of like where I come from and how I can help other people chase after their dreams. And, you know, another thing is my little sister is like a huge, basically, support to me. So she's actually, you know, in her own little path to STEM. So she actually just got into like a STEM outreach program. She like got selected to be like ASB president, and I'm here raving about her. And it's just kind of like, it's because I see the impact that I basically can have her if she has that positive role model. So I want to help be that for other people as well. So yeah. And I know I saw some comments on like the memes, so I don't know if like you had the memes, so we can pull them up and do like a meme review.
Yes, I'm gonna try to get Eduardo here. Sorry, there was somebody that was just needing attention, so I had to ask five. um, you know, like I feel like I don't know, like I'm kind of happy about, you know, like negative. Um, I I like to turn like my negatives into positives always.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, like I don't ever see the comments. If they're negative, they're just bounced. To honestly, I don't even care. I'm just like some people, like I noticed that they care about it. Um, so I don't know, like I'm just like whatever, like, you know, like I don't even look at it. But you know, like I didn't want it to like make everybody else in this life where we're like uplifting and talking about women empowerment. I didn't want him to distract that from this amazing conversation. So we're waiting for Eduardo. And yeah, no, I love that. I love everything that you guys are saying and how you wanna, you know, like create awareness and inspire other women. Thing, you know, I think that it is important. And before Papaya, I didn't know about this community at all. Like, yeah, like I don't know how I never like, you know, like was aware of all the people who are doing, and like, you know, just like I see a lot of STEM women out here. And talking about lean in, and you know, the book, she also talks about like how sometimes women are the biggest enemy of another woman. Have you ever had that experience? Like she talks about it, and she also quotes that there should be a special seat in hell when a woman doesn't help you, you know, because there's just like so like there's not that many of us, so it should just be a no-brainer. But has that ever happened to you where you feel like jealousy or something like that, and instead of like, you know, like trying to go against everything that we were raised to be, um you know, we follow these patterns in these negative ways. Have you ever been like part of that or seen it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like I've experienced it. I think, again, it's like part of those like things that we have to deal with. But I think a huge part of it is honestly something that you were saying, Sandra, which is like your mindset is, trying to take the negative and turn it into a positive, and turn it into like motivation. And even if someone is meeting you with that negativity, really trying to meet them with kindness and understanding, because honestly, they must be going through something really difficult if they feel the need to like project onto you their jealousy or envy or whatever the case is. So it's really, I think what's really important is understanding whatever it is that they're going through. It really has nothing to do with you, so not taking it personal and really showing them that kindness that honestly they might need, as well as just setting those boundaries so that it doesn't affect you negatively. And yeah, that's kind of what I think. And I think Eduardo is driving actually, so I don't know if he'll be able to join us for the memes.
Yeah, I have the memes pulled up.
Okay.
And what about you, Bahdon?
Yeah, sure. So I have a deeper thought process on this, and I feel like a woman. I've never had an experience like this, but I feel like a woman who expresses those emotions have kind of suffered those herself, and she uses that unhealed trauma to just take it out on you, because that she knows that she fought to be in this place. But I'm really glad the overall kind of the atmosphere of women in STEM is changing to a more of like, hey, let's all hold hands together and raise each other up instead of me shooting for the sky. It's like we're all in this together now, and like if you get in, that means we all got in. Like that's one of the things that I saw in a lot of this competition. It's like if she gets in, then we're all in. So it's like that whole team effort, that okay, one for all and all for, like that kind of thing, which I'm really appreciative of. But I've never really faced that in my life. I've had a really supporting, good support system, which is my mother, and she has always been kind of like, go for your dreams, go do whatever you want to do, and chase those crazy dreams. And she used to tell me that I want to be different, and I never understood like what different meant. And for the longest time, I was like, what do you mean different? And now I realize she wanted me to stand up to the societal barriers and be like, hey, you don't have to do this. You can do something else. You can look like this else. You don't have to be. And now I tell her that, hey, I understood what you meant now. It might have only taken 21 years, but now I get it. So I'm glad that overall, like, it's more of a support system. Like Claudia says, like, we have an amazing group of women. Like, I can just list like 20 from my top of my head. So I'm really excited for the future for all of us.
I love it. I love it. And I'm so glad that you guys haven't experienced that. Um, so yes, so I'm gonna go through the meme review now. And since we didn't get to do this, well, the live was cut off. Just wanted to give a big shout out to STEM Media for producing the show. Obviously, Eduardo and Engineer Memes Guy for letting us use your platform so our voice can be heard, and we can talk about our stories and everything good and bad that comes with being a woman in STEM. Also, Papaya Tutor, I feel like, like I'm kind of like liking my own picture right now. So, yeah, Papaya Tutor, so Laura talks about this, but yes, so like, I think that, like I was saying at the beginning, that diversity and inclusion comes so close to my heart because I always felt like, a victim, but a victim that, won the battle. Like I, like got into the company that I wanted to get in. I doubled my salary in 4 years. I was able to work in companies like Google, Starbucks, Facebook, that I was like never even like thought of. And I'm an immigrant, so with Papaya, I want to create a platform where everybody can have the same, opportunities that I did. So yeah, so and like a big thing for me, obviously being a woman in STEM, is that we make this show and we create awareness about minorities in STEM. So so now without further ado, we'll do our memes. So who wants to take this one? You can take it together if you like.
Yeah.
So here's the guy so happy, and then and then SolidWorks is not responding.
Yeah, basically the moral of the meme is that make sure you're saving your model frequently because you don't want it to crash on you and you lose all your progress.
Another thing that I did was I used to save it in different folders, and the SolidWorks would be like, "Hello, where's the rest?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, is it A? Is it B? Which one is it?" And it's the struggle. Let's see. That's like me. That's me explaining to everyone. I'm like, no, I don't know cars. I like cars, but I don't know cars. I don't know anything about cars, but I can build stuff, but I don't know cars.
But you can build it if you wanted to figure out. I think that
Yes.
we all can.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm like, Mom, I don't know how to fix your refrigerator. Get out of here.
Oh my goodness. So this is the story of my life. So yeah, I'm the student, and you know, there's all those like deadlines, you know, and the learning and the, you know, projects and stuff like that. But my phone, social media, procrastination, all those other things seem just so much more appealing.
I heard that you know, because I'm actually, let me see if there's another one. No, there's not. Oh, interesting. So like I heard that procrastination happens when you're stressed. So because like it's like subconscious. It's like when you're stressed, you don't want to do it because you know like it's already stressing you. So it's a way to kind of like you know like deal with your stress, but in a healthy way. Because it's just at the end of the day, it gives you more stress because you have procrastinated something that is you know due. Not that I like listen to my own advice, just like read it. So I was like, I write it down. I was like, okay, noted. But yeah, so is there, if you can go back 4 years, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh wow.
Okay, I'll go first. If I could go back 4 years, like honestly, the first thing that I would say is get a. This is what I say every single day to anyone that's going into school: is get a mentor, get an advisor, get someone that can help you show the path. For so long, I was so lost because I was like, okay, I want to do this, but I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Like, I need someone to tell me. And to bring up, you know, STEM media, they talk about like empowering your STEM success and like elevating that. And that's really what a mentor does. And that's what a mentor should do for you. So I found my mentor and my guide over the last year, and look how much. So if you just get someone to help you and guide you the right track, like that's honestly what I would tell you. Get a mentor and trust in yourself and give yourself like appreciation for doing what you're doing. That's something that I don't do. I never like say, okay, good job. I'm just like, okay, I could have done this better. So appreciate yourself, get a mentor, and yeah.
Self-love, right? Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
we're always so hard on ourselves. And I mean, and I've definitely done that. So now I practice 5 minutes or like, you know, at least a minute of self-love because we're our own worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you know, I won't not sound like crazy, but yes, like the voices in your head were telling you that you're not good enough and like those limiting beliefs that you create. I mean, yeah, so that's really good. And I wish I knew that at a younger age.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Claudia?
Yeah, honestly, so I think, you know, all the pages and platforms that are a part of this live in general form part of that advice that I kind of wish I knew. So honestly, I'm gonna like shamelessly plug all of them right now because honestly, asking for help is one of them. You know, make sure that you can try to figure things out on your own. I think something that a rule of thumb that one of my mentors told me once is like try to figure it out maybe for like 30 minutes, but after that you're not really using your time effectively. So ask questions. So if you're struggling, ask for help, ask for tutoring, and that is what Papaya Tutor is all about. Asking, reaching out for that help, asking for that tutoring. And you know, the fact that they are all about helping the low income communities or the underrepresented communities is huge because definitely that's the communities that kind of need that help because they might feel lost or whatever the case is. And definitely like Bahdon said, is mentoring is so important because as first generations we kind of again feel lost and we don't know how to navigate things and how is it that we want to accomplish those dreams. So finding a mentor, someone who you really look up to, and you basically want to know how they got to where they're at, but making that journey your own. So definitely, again, STEM media, kind of like Bahdon was saying, is huge on that, offering that mentorship, again, to the underrepresented communities, to people of color. That is another huge thing. And then having the actual practical experience. So internships are extremely important. And Lumis automation is huge on that, and giving you that hands-on experience, that practical application of what it is that you're learning in school. Because definitely what you're learning in school is going to be different from what you are doing in the industry. So having those internships, having that hands-on application is super important. And then make sure to have fun with it, which is engineering memes guy. Finding that positivity of like everything that we're going through. So I feel like, again, it was like my own little way of, combining how all of these platforms are helping the upcoming generations to make us our best versions and assist us. So definitely, asking for help, looking for a mentor, and having fun with it, and finding that practical application. Those would be the 4.
Oh, you're amazing. You're so good. And like, so that's amazing. And yeah, I was gonna mention that, not that was actually why I came out with Papaya, because I had tutors, right, from my home country, that I was able to afford. And that was the key. Like, to me, it was like like if you look into like 2 curves, like, all right, so if it's taking me more than 30 minutes or like an hour to solve a problem, it's not worth my time, because I used to work through college. So I was like, you know what? I was like, just tell me like what to do. Is mentor for your classes, somebody who's showing you the way, instead of you just driving aimlessly, not knowing where to go. So yes, I think it's a good way to, like, buy some time, because time, like, is valuable. Like, you can always get more money, but you can never get more time. So yes on everything. Thank you, ladies, for being part of this live, and for supporting us, and for supporting Papaya. I really appreciate you both. I cannot wait to see the beautiful things that you are going to build and that you're going to be part of. I'm so excited. And I mean, hopefully we meet again here. I can't wait for that. Have a good night, and thank you so much. Is there anything else that you guys want to say? I always say guys. Only girls here, because of yours. Okay. Anything else that you want to say?
Okay.
Yeah, well, definitely. Sorry. I don't want to cut you off. Definitely, if you missed it, I know that Engineering Memes Guy will post it on his page, and it's also being streamed on YouTube. So definitely check that out. And yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. I kind of talked on my stories about how I have a hard time being outspoken, and that practice and being around people who are supportive and make me feel safe is super, a huge thing for me that I'm grateful for. So just thank you for this opportunity, and for the people that you are.
Yeah, same goes for me. I'm so thankful and grateful for this platform, and the fact that Engineering Memes Guys is letting us do this. It's taking a day a week to inspire other women, and it's so inspiring. And one thing that I wanted to say, I see a lot of questions about, oh, I'm not very good at this. I think of tutoring as an investment towards your future. Invest in that. Like, yes, we can get Uber Eats, but we can also invest that into a tutor. And Papaya Tutor is so great, and you can ask for that help. And I always look at it as you're investing towards your career. That's going to pay off in the future, because you're going to be there exactly where you want to be. Someone told me that a degree is like a ticket. So once you're in, the whole world is yours. So
yes.
I'm just so excited for everyone's journey, and I'm so excited for this platform. And thank you so much again, all of you, for being here.
Thank you, ladies, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Have a good one. Have a good night.
All right. Good night.